Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Melissa Dalton, and I am so excited to welcome you to today's webinar, Purpose Driven Schools, brought to you by Sheminly. At Sheminly, we are dedicated to empowering educators, students, and communities through innovative professional development programs. Our mission is to create meaningful change in schools around the world. And today, our session is a perfect example of that vision in action. We are absolutely thrilled to have, oh, I don't want to mess your name up,
Katarina.
Katarina Carlson with us today. Katarina is not just a visionary leader. She's a true change maker with a mission to transform 195 schools worldwide, one school in one town in every country. As the CEO of Destiny International 11, over 20 years she spent helping clients unlock their entrepreneurial blueprint success strategy in a single day. Her passion for education goes beyond consulting. As the global founder of Global Leadership Schools and Teachers Hero, she's on a mission to bring entrepreneurship into the classrooms worldwide, helping students and educators alike reach their full potential. Today, she will dive into the heart of what it means to create purpose-driven schools, why some traditional models aren't working, how we can rethink solutions for real change, and she will discuss the transformative power of training programs that they can have in reshaping the future of education. This is an incredible opportunity to gain fresh perspectives on the challenges and the possibilities facing schools today and to discover new ways to ignite change. At Sheminly, we believe in the power of community and collaboration, and we cannot wait to see what today's conversation will inspire. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming and giving a very warm welcome to our guest speaker. Thank you, and I'm turning it over to you.
Thank you, Melissa.
You're welcome.
So can everybody hear me? I hope I can hear you. You can.
I can hear you. So everyone's muted, so I'm sure they can hear you.
Fantastic. So I'm going to see if I can share my slides. Okay.
We see your slides.
See your slides? Okay. So
yes.
Welcome, everybody. I'm happy that you're here because what it means is that you care about education. And I am passionate about education and passionate about creating results in schools. In fact, one of my missions, one of our missions, because we're a team now at Global Leadership Schools, is to create the most dynamic, most innovative schools in the world, schools that children love to go to. So I don't know how many of you here work in an innovative, dynamic schools. I hope you do. And if so, maybe you can inspire us. The schools I've worked in as a teacher have not been very dynamic, have not been innovative, and that's our purpose in Global Leadership Schools, to change that. So I'd like to know what is the purpose of schools? I mean, in my school, I was told that my teachers were going to help me prepare for life. Well, I don't know about you, but that didn't happen to me. In fact, it took me 20 years to almost unlearn what I'd learned in school and find my brilliance. And is it arrogant to say that I found my brilliance? No, it's unusual, but it's not arrogant because everyone has a brilliance. And so for the last 20 years, I've been working with clients and finding their entrepreneurial vision and entrepreneurial blueprint in one day, because I don't believe in wasting time. Finding their identity, their driving purpose, and their compelling vision. And that's what I'm doing with teachers right now. Finding their purpose, their driving purpose, their identity as a brilliant teacher, and also their compelling vision. Okay, we're going to come to questions in a minute, but first of all, I'd like to know what's working in schools globally. Well, billions of children are still going to school. More and more schools are being created. So schools are working, but is the system working? I'm going to ask you that in a minute. So we have AI, we have technology, inclusive education, holistic development, global citizenship education, teacher training, Okay, parental and community involvement, yes. And why are parents and communities involved? And they have been involved, especially since the year 1992. And I'd like you to write that year down in your notebooks because it's a very special year. We're going to come to that in a minute. So what's happening in schools, more research, more tests, lowering standards because children are not achieving the test results that the education authorities require. And it's causing a lot of stress and a lot of mental disturbance among young people more than ever globally. Okay. So what's not working? The global number of out-of-school children has risen by 6 million since 2021. 6 million children don't go to school. I don't know if they're homeschooled or if their parents think school is a waste of time, but 6 million children out of school, and the number is growing. And why? My take on it is that education is not child-centered. Children come in with their creative genius and they want to be discovered and they want to make the best of their lives and they're enthusiastic. But by the time they're teenagers, they've lost that. I don't know if that's your experience. That is certainly my experience, and we're going to prove it in a minute. So, in college, 31% of students are quitting because they're not sure what they want to study. Well, so did school prepare them for life? Well, most schools are academic. Most schools are for intellectuals, for academics to go to college. Now, if that is even failing, if 31% are leaving college, the system is clearly not working. And why are they leaving? They're not sure what they want to study. So they haven't been guided in that. So mental health is an issue. It's a crisis. Unprecedented advancement in technology, and not everybody's keeping up with technology, and skill gaps for rapidly changing job markets. Because now we need people that are innovative. We live in an age of information. It's easy to get information. What a history teacher teaches in 1 hour on the Boston Tea Party, for example, in America, would take 10 minutes to learn on YouTube. And that's what many, many students do. So the system really isn't functioning properly. And I hope you agree with me. So the real problem, what is the real problem? Well, in 1992, remember I said, remember that date? In 1992, Dr. George Land came up with NASA test results on 1,600 students. So from the age of 6 to adults, the same children. And teachers were involved in this research. And the good news is that children up to the age of 6 are operating at 98% creative genius, right? I don't know if any of you teach 6-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, but they're enthusiastic, they want to know, they're curious, they ask questions the whole time. Why this, why that? And those questions need to be answered. And they are willing to use their imaginations, they are willing to learn, they are willing to create, they are usually, some of them are competitive, but usually they cooperate with each other. So they're wonderful children to teach. But what happens? What happens? What is the percentage of creative genius by the time the children, actually they're not children anymore, by the time these young people are teenagers? Have you any idea? Write down in your notebooks what you think it is, and I'll ask you later. Yeah, 12%. For me, that is scandalous, that we're actually reducing the creative genius of children. They start off at school, 98% creative genius, and we dumb them down to 12%. So are we dumb downing our children in schools into mediocrity? Yes, we are. Okay, is it anybody's fault? Let's not even go there. You know, was this programmed? You know, let's not blame, let's find solutions. And on this presentation, we are going to find solutions. So 12% as teenagers, what do you think the percentage of creative genius is as adults with these same children and with most adults around you? Just put a percentage down in your notebooks. It's 2%. So we live in an age of information. What we need is innovation, creative thinkers, solution finders, out of the box thinkers, and young leaders. I don't know about you, but there's not one political leader that truly inspires me. And I think that's really sad. Since maybe Kennedy or Gorbachev or Gandhi. So we're in trouble because we have not got innovative, dynamic leaders. But these children that come to our schools will be exactly that. So we have so many challenges on our planet and we need solutions. Now, I'm open to any questions. And if you don't have questions for me, I have questions for you. So please put your volume on, unmute, and ask a question.
Feel free to unmute your phone and ask a question if you have one or a statement. We don't have any questions in chat.
Yes, I can't read the chat, but maybe you can, Melissa.
We don't have any. We don't have any questions in chat.
Okay, so I have a question
Yeah.
for you. What is the purpose of schools? So most of you are teachers, and most of you had a reason for becoming a teacher. What is the purpose of schools, and what's your purpose? So you can put your answer in the chat, or you can just speak up. And every answer is a good answer. So don't worry about your answer. What is the purpose of schools? Anybody willing to answer?
Well, we do have some comments coming in.
Okay.
First one, to find out the genius in students and help to nurture their potential. I love that response.
Oh, wonderful. And who answered that? What is your name, please?
Tanud?
My name is Tinuade.
Duwabi. I love your
Tinuade.
answer to, sorry, excuse me.
Tinuade.
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 Yes.
Tinuib.
Yes. Yes.
I love your answer.
Tinu for short.
Sorry?
Tinu for short. Just call it Tinu.
Tinu. I love it.
Tinu.
So nurturing the genius in students. What age are the students that you teach, Tinu?
Between 14 and 17.
17. And do you notice that they are coming from 12% genius, or are the ones in your class, are they more than 12%?
I would say within the range of 12% still, because in my opinion, many things have been taken away from them in the course of being in their schools. So I take them in when they've already finished a process. And so they're going into another process. So I take them in between, that gap in between. So they've lost quite a lot of the genius before they come here, really. So we're trying to rediscover.
Yes. So when you say many things have been taken away from them, what things have been taken away?
I guess it's the whole system that has taken a lot of things from them. They've been sort of cowed. They're now pretty limited, and they have been given an opinion and haven't found this environment to shake off. Yeah. I came from that kind of system too, so I understand what they went through and how people didn't believe in them, to be able to get the best out of them. And so they've had to cope with that for upwards of 10 years. And so they've lost what could be in them. They've actually lost it. They've
lost their genius?
Yes, they've kind of lost their genius. Yes, that's at least some of it, so they've lost a lot of it, I would say, so
and
because of the form.
What do you teach, Tinu?
Okay, I'm the principal at the moment, but I teach French. So
you teach tu parles français. C'est très bien.
Oui, je parle français très bien. Yeah,
okay. So in your French class, Tinu, you find that the students are enthusiastic, or what is their attitude like?
No, they're not enthusiastic at all. In order for me to get them up to speed, there's a lot of pep talk I have to do, pump them, encourage them. Unfortunately, also, the teachers that they came in contact with didn't tell them why they should learn French or why they should even be interested at all, so they had to do that because they just had to get by. So it has to take a lot of, thinking outside the box to get them to be interested, so,
Yes.
but.
And that's
yeah.
what I guess you do, Tinu. But it
Yes,
takes a
that's
lot of energy, right?
a lot of
Because
energy. Yes, a lot of
you have
energy.
to go into the classroom and
Yes.
pump up the enthusiasm.
Yes, that's what you have to
And
do.
then get them to understand French, is a wonderful language. And, you can go to
yeah,
France on holiday.
yeah.
You could be an entrepreneur and learn French.
Yes.
And they're like, ugh.
Oh, really?
Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yes,
I mean,
that's
they
correct.
may not be as rude as that, but
Yeah, no. I mean, they ask you questions. Why, in the scheme of things, why is it important? So why do I have to do that?
exactly. Why do I have to do this? Like
Mm.
another boring lesson,
Yes.
that I haven't asked for. Yes. So
Mhm.
that is a huge problem, isn't it, Tinu? Because most of the subjects are like that. And
Yes.
then in my experience, I've found at the most 30% of the class is interested in your subject. And the rest
Yes.
of the 70% are
Mm.
not.
They are not.
No.
They would rather
And
be doing something else.
yes, they would rather be outside. They'd rather
Yeah.
be entertaining. They'd be rather on their
On their
their
phones. Yeah.
whatever, but not in your class or my
Mhm.
class.
Mhm.
So that's 70%, and the 70% bring the energy down, right? Because the 30% are trying to learn, and the other 70% don't want to learn. So the energy of the class is low. And so the teacher has to keep pumping her own or his own energy up, right? Just to get the lesson started, right? Is that correct, Tino?
That's it. That's very correct. Got it.
All right. So let's see if we can find some solutions to this. Any other comments? Or thank you so much for participating, Tino, because when we participate, we learn, right? Because nobody has all the answers. I don't have all the answers. I have some answers, but so have you, Tino. Yes. And so has everybody here. Anybody else?
We
would
do,
like-
yes, we do we have a few more. Renu Sharma stated, the purpose of school extends beyond just imparting academic knowledge. Schools aim to nurture well-rounded individuals who are equipped with the skills, values, knowledge necessary for personal growth and responsible citizenship.
Wow, what a brilliant answer. Okay, so this is Renu, did you say?
Yes, I hope I said their name right.
Renu, would you unmute, please? You don't have to, but I'd like
Well,
to.
I know that they popped on and popped off because they had
Okay.
entered the room and then left. They might be having technical issues.
Okay, all right. Well, I just want to say that's a brilliant, brilliant answer. That's what schools are for, actually, really to prepare children for the future. And the future keeps changing. Technologically, we're going at nano speed. And young people's minds actually and brains work faster than they've ever worked before. But school is going at a very, very slow rate. I hope you agree with me. I mean, it's like, we come from a technical age and we go into a classroom and it's like the classroom is 50 years old. The structure of the classroom, the environment, it's just 50 years old, right? So we have to move on. Okay, if there are no more questions, if there are any more questions, please speak now or write in the chat that you want to say something.
We have two more comments.
Okay, good.
Veta said to facilitate them to be critical thinkers and think globally. And then Litty said, as a teacher, I become the catalyst for young minds to build their future.
Beautiful.
And yes, Renu stated that they are facing some technical issues, which I assumed. No problem at all.
No problem. And I love your answer. Thank you so much. And who was it who said that that teachers should be catalysts?
That was from Liddy.
Lee. Okay.
Litty. Yes.
Litty. Okay. So Litty, would you like to have a conversation or would you just like to chat in the chat box? It's totally up to you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from India, so here it's evening. So that's the reason I said good evening. So my name is Liti.
Litty, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, I answered for like as a teacher, what is my role as a school? Yes, school is a platform that is given to the children to bring them out of their shell and, to build and to guide them to how to be a good human being, uh, and how to be a part of the society. That's a platform that is given for children in school. But as a teacher, I feel like I play a very vital role, a very important role, uh, because I am one of the catalysts for my children to know how the society is and give them the knowledge. Obviously, not like I do not know when they go to the society how it would be. Obviously, it will be different for them, how they experience it, but at least make them a good human being to understand and accept whatever comes in their way, and they can apply their knowledge, apply their skills, and use their values wherever they require. That is the reason I put in that I become the catalyst for the young minds to build their future.
Brilliant, Litty. And what do you teach?
And
Is
I
there a
teach math,
particular-
mathematics. Math is my subject, math.
Wow, that's amazing. And do you have an enthusiastic class? I mean, how old are they, and are they enthusiastic?
They are 11 and 12-year-old children, 6th and 7th grade children, and they are very, they are very excited, they're very enthusiastic in the class, and to match their energy, I find difficult, to match their energy and be in the class along with them.
Wow. So you're trying to match their enthusiasm. Wow, and they're excited.
Yes,
That's
it
amazing.
is.
That's wonderful. Go ahead.
And yes, at times the kind of questions children bring up, from the society, what they see and what they're going through around. At times, I find it like this technology where they get access to lots of technology around. I think somewhere it has given us bit of impact in as a human being. I feel machines have been taken over than the human being. So that somewhere I feel like, as a teacher, I find it difficult at times to stop them and tell them ki children move out of the technology and be in that, like how we in our school days preferred a book, read the book and understand. But now children are more into technology, and that thing I don't know how to curb that access to the technology. Sometimes it is a boon. It is a boon for children that they can explore and understand things sitting at home. They are globally connected, but yeah, drawbacks are also there in it.
Right, absolutely. Technology should be used in the classroom. And I don't know if you've heard of super teaching, right brain, left brain teaching. Have you ever heard of that?
Sorry? I'm sorry?
Super teaching, right brain, left brain teaching, where you have 3 screens at the front of the class. The right screen is nature, because all children like nature. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the middle screen is interactive, it's the teacher. And the left-hand screen is all the knowledge that they have to learn. So it could be a mathematical formula, but because the right screen gets your attention, then in fact, it gets all the children's attention. The left brain starts to open up and take in the information automatically. And in 10 minutes, you learn what you normally teach in 1 hour. And the children, and it's 85% effective. So 85% of the class get it every single time. So just write down super teaching. We'll be coming to that later.
Okay, got it.
Okay, thank you so much, Liti,
Thank you.
for
Thank you.
participating. And I'm so glad that the children in your class love mathematics, because we live in a universe that's mathematical. Is that correct? Like sacred geometry. I mean, our bodies, our minds, even our universe is mathematical. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. All right, let's move on. Oh, there was one other person, Melissa, I think, who left something in the chat, a comment in the chat. Is that correct?
There was Liddy and there was Veta to facilitate them to be critical thinkers thinking globally.
Critical thinkers, wonderful. All right.
And that was it in the chat.
Yes, okay. Dita, was it Dita? So if you would like to,
Vita.
Data?
Vita. Yes, VEDHA, if I'm saying that right.
VEDHA, Dita. Okay. So, Dita, would you like to chat with me, or would you like to just comment in the chat box?
She said they're not able to talk right now.
Okay, great. Okay. Thank you so much, Dita, for your comment. I totally agree with you. Critical thinking. Absolutely. So thank you everybody for participating, and we'll move on. So yeah, so my comment, like you already wrote down in the chat box, most of all, we need to nurture the natural brilliance in every child. So not just some children, every child, so that you can not only survive in the world, but thrive. And we need to recognize and foster this brilliance at a very early age. So what are our solutions? Children are linguistic geniuses, and so they can be learning 3 languages before the age of 6 instead of playing. In Sweden, children play until 7 years old. We have like preschool as well, where they learn a little bit of alphabet and basic, numbers, but not much. Most of the time they play, and they could be learning languages, because languages are really important today. Why? Because we are global. Now we are global. And so my understanding is that children can learn their native language at quite an advanced level. So they learn to communicate with each other in a diplomatic way, in a way that's cooperative rather than competitive. And they can learn a second language, which I would say is English, because that's a global language. And then the third language is possibly Spanish. So children think languages are fun. So they learn a language, they learn grammatically correct language. So we were talking with Reno before, teaching French. If your child could learn French before the age of 6. So
sorry about that.
It's okay, no problem. 3 languages before the age of 6, which is a fantastic start to school. Because in Sweden, for example, Swedish, English, and maths are for the educational system the most important subjects. Not necessarily for me, but they are for them. So if you already know 2 languages very well, then you're ahead of the game, right? So what about a brilliance profile for every student from the age of 4 to 18? So what do I mean by a brilliance profile? We have created a digital training for teachers and an app so that the teachers who have been on a training, what we call a brilliance training, because if the teachers are teaching at their most brilliant, they can bring out the brilliance of students. If they are not teaching at that level, it's very, very hard to bring out the brilliance of children. But every child, in my experience, and that's at least 10 years of teaching, every child has brilliance. And what we need to do is find that brilliance. So in the app, they tell us what they love to do at weekends, what their hobby is, what their favorite subject is, what they want to do in the next 5 years in school, what they want to do with their lives, excuse me, who their favorite teacher is, what subject they want to improve on, if any, what subject is weak and they don't want to improve on. So all about the child. So can you imagine that every teacher and the principal has access to every child's brilliance profile? Is that going to make a difference to your relationship with the children? Is that going to make a difference to, for example, the disruptive children in your class? You can then have a conversation with them about them, child-centered conversations. The trouble with teaching 30 children in a class is that we don't usually have this information about them. They're a name, they're a number, and they're either good or bad students, etc. But that's all we know about them, except for a few we get to know them. But imagine if you knew every single person in your class, and if you taught other classes, you had access to information about them. So when we come to the questions, I'd like you to comment on that. Would you like to be a brilliance teacher, and would you like to have a brilliance app to bring out the brilliance of every single student? So, entrepreneurial training for students 7 to 18. There are many parents in the world who simply don't want their children to go to school because they think it's useless. But what if their daughter, their son, left school with a business, an entrepreneurial business they could monetize as long as they had a computer? That's pretty much essential if you're going to work globally. But imagine if you start at the age of 7, you have 11, 12 years to create a business which would be operating by points. You can sell and you can buy within the school on points, not money, points. But then when you leave school, you can make that business monetize and actually support your family. So, emotional and financial autonomy for every student. Super teaching, which I've mentioned before, right brain, left brain screens for effective learning in every classroom. I learned in 10 minutes, I learned about raising capital. Raising capital is not my #1 brilliance at all. But many years ago, I had the opportunity to experience super teaching, which was created by Andrew Dorman, the Roosevelt and the Kennedys coach. So a very, very, very brilliant man created super teaching for schools today, so that children in the class who love the subject can actually prepare the lesson. for the left screen, left brain screen, and they get points for that. And the teacher comes in, presses a button, there's your lesson. So they learn in about 10 minutes, and then what do you do for the rest of the lesson? You get into groups, quiz groups, drama groups, a kind of group to do with that subject. And children love that kind of teaching because they participate and they don't have to sit in their chairs for however long it is, 40 minutes, an hour, passively. They want to participate. So, super teaching. Each student with their Brilliance app is cognizant of their own strengths, their unique brilliance and intelligence. Imagine if students, instead of going out, during the pause, during the break, instead of going, oh, what's your latest, tech game? What if they asked each other, what's your brilliance? Oh, I'd like to know what your brilliance is, because maybe I can help you. So cooperation rather than competition. So every student from the age of 7 is clear on their unique identity, purpose, and 5 vision goals. I mean, that's extraordinary. And they can tell their parents, this is what I want to achieve in 5 years in school. And this is what I want to achieve after school. So every student who chooses entrepreneurship will leave school with a business that they can monetize. And every student from the age of 13 will have a career or business mentor in school. They could be mentors that come from outside of school as well. And every student will have access to learning life skills and especially digital skills, because then they will definitely get a job. So, what trainings do we have? Let's see if we can do them on screen. So your entrepreneurial mindset training for teachers. It's 3 2-hour trainings. It took me 20 years to find my brilliance. And when I found my core values, let's see if you can see this: truth, greatness, and vision. Then I created a consultation which finds your brilliant identity, your driving purpose, and your compelling vision, 5-year vision, 1 year, 3 year, 5-year vision. So what we have created is, number 1, a consultation for leaders to help the principals become exceptional leaders. So can you imagine a principal who has access to the Brilliance and the Brilliance app and Brilliance profile of every single student? Wouldn't that be great? And the brilliance of every single teacher, what teachers' brilliance is, what their brilliance identity is, what their driving purpose in school is, and where they want to go in 5 years' time. Can you imagine that that would enhance the relationship between the principal and the teachers and the students, and the principal and the students, and the parents? All right. So, number 2, your entrepreneurial mindset training for teachers. We have a digital program for that as well. And your brilliant entrepreneur for 30 students, a 3 2-hour training, or it could be a 1-day training. 3 months coaching certification for teachers, kickstart training, new vision, consultations for school dropouts, And for those students who happen to be violent, from violence to vision, training young people with a criminal record to reinvent themselves and reinvent their lives. I've actually delivered this training. It's an entrepreneurial blueprint training, but it's also a life blueprint training for St. Quentin prison. And I think there were about 50 participants, and one of them left prison within 2 months, and within another month had a job and wrote to me in pencil and said, if it wasn't for this training, he said, he was very skeptical, but he said, if it wasn't for this training, if this wasn't for me sitting in my cell and it clicking, I would not have a life, the life that I have today with a job in Seattle. So it works for everyone. So leadership training for school students from 1 to 9, and entrepreneurial trainings for parents. Bring out the natural potential in your child. Okay, any questions or comments? Comment in the chat and unmute. We have about 10 minutes left.
No comments in chat yet. We'll just give everyone a moment. Sometimes the internet can be dreadfully slow.
Exactly, exactly. So I'm going to ask you a question. We as teachers have been through school, so it's possible that we have been dumbed down. I was dumbed down. I know I was very, very enthusiastic up to the age of about 7 or 8. And I liked school, but I didn't see the point. And I didn't see that it was for me. So I went to Homerton College, Cambridge, and it was supposed to be one of the best trainings possibly in the world, teacher trainings. And apart from Montessori and Waldorf and Summerhill, Summerhill is a school where the lessons are not compulsory, they're voluntary. So if a student is in your lesson, it's because they want to be there, right? So apart from those 3 schools, I was not inspired. And I didn't feel prepared to teach. And I'm sure that many of you have been through teacher training and have been equally disappointed. So I'd like to know if you were and what impact that had in your life. So you can reply in the chat, or you can unmute and talk to me, whatever you wish. So basically, did your teacher training work for you? You can just answer yes or no. For me, it was no.
No comments in chat yet.
No comment. Okay, so let's move on then. All right. So what is the impact of teachers who have brought out their brilliance? That, don't get me wrong, people listening today are probably brilliant teachers. Why do I know that? Because you care. You care about your students, you care about the education system. You might be disappointed, but you're enthusiastic and you want the best for your students. But you're in a system that is dysfunctional, unfortunately. It needs to change. Okay, so you can put in the chat whether you agree with me or not. So what is the impact on these on the trainings? Students are motivated to come to school because school has meaning for them, their lives and their future. I have a vision of a 15-year-old, 16-year-old, 17-year-old, one girl and two boys, and they love skateboarding. And they've created in physics class, they've created a skateboard. And in their entrepreneurial class, they've created a business together. One of them is a visionary, one of them is a marketer, and one of them is an organizer. And you need all three in an entrepreneurial business. It's 7 p.m. in the evening, and mom calls and says, supper's on the table and you've got to come home now. And they say, no, you come to school with supper because we come and see this, we're so excited. And we're creating an entrepreneurial business of skateboards, and we're going to sell them worldwide to different schools on points, of course. So mom and dad come to school. So that's a vision I have. That's the kind of school I would like to be part of, and I'm sure most people would be. So students are emotionally strong and supportive of each other. They're collaborative rather than competitive. They're sure of themselves, their strengths and their future, and they feel confident as entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs. They're emotionally and financially autonomous. So they know about money. They know how to make money. They know how to save money. They know how to grow their money. And they feel safe about money because money is almost like a taboo subject in schools. And it should not be, because children leave school not knowing how money works in the world.
So I know that there's a delay in internet, but we do have a couple of responses to your original question about
Okay,
what
good.
they got out of a program. So I'd like to share that if that's okay.
Yes, please. The teachers training program, do you mean?
Yes, for what they got out of the teachers training program. So Neelam stated, to an extent it did work, but real classroom experience is always different. And then we have another one from Tanud. I had a terrible experience with my math teachers. They just didn't believe in me. I had to intentionally unlearn the lack of faith in me when I was already going through teacher training, and that made me promise to believe in every child and give everything I have to get out the light bulb moments in my students.
Wow, that is so moving. Well, sorry, the name of the last person, the maths who went through the maths.
I believe it's Tunad, Tinuade.
B-E, Tunad?
D-E, Tunad, yes.
Okay, Tunad. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for turning that experience around from maths, a horrible experience, to a great experience. Thank you so much. So it means that you have actually grown through that experience and you have so much to give. Bless you. Thank you so much for that. And then Vimal, so could you please repeat that, Melissa? I didn't quite catch.
Yes, for Neelam, to an extent it did work, but real classroom experience is always different.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And for me, teachers training should happen within a school or with access to the school, so that teachers who are students who are training to be teachers can actually go in and witness dynamic classes and be inspired by them. Do you agree with me? Yes or no? Just put yes or no in the chat.
And we had another comment from Richard. Richard stated that my teacher training was sufficient, but I think a focus on life skills would be more practical and effective for teachers and students.
I totally agree, Richard. Absolutely.
And we have a number of yeses to your last question.
Okay, thank you. Because one of my visions is to have a school in Sweden, and almost like a park. A school is like a community, and a big house by the sea, of course, so people can swim in the summer anyway. And the students get together, and they can actually go into the school, and it's already a dynamic school, and they can experience what it is to teach in a dynamic, innovative school. So I think that should be, I think a teacher training could be so much more innovative, imaginative, yeah, and impactful. Yeah. Okay, Melissa, I can see you now. Hi. So
that's because it's wrap up time.
Okay, wrap up time. Yes, we only have 2 minutes, right? So our process,
Yes,
well, you can just read it, I guess. Our pre-training assessment. We can just go to the next slide. So our purpose, transform 195 schools globally, as Melissa said at the beginning. And together we'll explore the incredible potential within each of us to trust ourselves and unlock a life of alignment and purpose. That's teachers and students. And if you'd like to contact me, take a photo shot of this, and you're very, very welcome, especially the people who have participated and talked in the chat. If you've enjoyed this, please connect with me. So, my God, I think I wasn't sure that that I had enough material for an hour, but you know, we just made it, Melissa.
We did. Thank you so much, Katarina, for this truly inspiring discussion. It's clear that your vision for transforming schools and empowering educators and students worldwide, it's not only bold, it's deeply impactful. We've gained so many valuable insights today, from redefining the purpose of our schools to exploring new strategies that can make a real difference in the classroom. Here at Shimily, we are deeply committed to fostering conversations like these, where innovative ideas meet practical solutions. We truly hope that today's session has sparked new ideas for each of you, and that you're feeling motivated to take these insights back to your own communities and schools. So let's keep this momentum going, because together we have the power to shape the future of education. If you want more information about Shimily, feel free to reach out to us at our website at shimily.com. And before we wrap up, I'd like to extend a huge thank you to all of you for being here today. Your dedication to creating a better learning environment is what makes events like this so special. And remember, if you'd like to dive deeper into these topics, we offer a range of professional development programs designed to support educators just like you. So once again, thank you, Katarina, for sharing your expertise, and to each of you joining us today. Let's continue to inspire and change and build a brighter future, one purpose-driven school at a time. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you so much, Melissa. It's been a pleasure. And thank you so much for everyone participating. You're brilliant. You're brilliant.
You are so welcome. We have a lot of thank yous in the chat. Thank you, everyone.